part 7. So start that again, that was crap. Joe can just start from here, can't he?
Yeah.
Yep. Joe, start from here. Hello, and welcome to DSTE Presents Twin Peaks, a weekly podcast looking at the new David Lynch TV show, Twin Peaks The Return. We're talking about part 7 tonight. My name's John.
My name's Nick.
Hi Nick, good to see you again. Been away for the weekend.
I have, yeah. Just came back yesterday.
How did that go?
Oh, very good.
Enjoy yourself, yeah. You actually went where our podcasting colleague Inman went, Krakow.
And got robbed.
He got robbed there.
I didn't. He got robbed.
Did you manage to avoid the same fate?
I kept my bag under lock and key. I was making sure. I learned from Inman's mistakes.
Yeah, he's took one for the team there by just showing you what not to do in Krakow.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so a good weekend then, yeah.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
Been busy yesterday. You've got back and caught up with Twin Peaks already.
First thing I did when I landed, well, no, not instantly. I didn't land and instantly watch it. I got home and then the first thing I did was put it on.
I'm just picturing you getting back on English soil and like literally watching on your phone straight away. Yeah, so we're both totally caught up with Twin Peaks. We're going to go into part 7 now. So are you okay if we go through it like location by location again? The reason being, we mentioned off the podcast, there's a lot of stuff in this episode where like Andy kind of jumps around all over the place. It goes from like one bit of Andy talking to one person to the next bit where he's meeting them somewhere else, and there's a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah.
So
No, that's fair enough.
it'd be quite confusing going scene by scene. So I just figured do it location by location, keep it simple, and go from there.
It's fine by me, yeah.
Okay, yes, we'll jump into it. Right, let's have a look where to start. How about, there's only one bit here, so we'll start in Buckhorn, if that's okay with you. And it's the scene at the morgue where I keep calling her a mortician. I don't think she's a mortician, but she works in the morgue with the dead bodies. I should really get the names of these people, but she's been working on the headless body. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah.
And we find out this week who the body belonged to.
I mean, I know they said that, but like, is this definitely confirmed that it is? Because like, as they were saying in the scene, like, if in fact you go through the scene and say what it's about first before.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's pretty much, it wraps itself up pretty quickly, doesn't it? It's just that the mortician woman that I should get the name of, has been working on the body, and I believe the military officer comes in, female military officer who we've seen in the other episodes. She comes in and mentions that the prints belong to Major Briggs. Is that right?
Major Briggs, yeah.
And like the mortician is saying that it belongs to a man in his late 40s, which all fits the category of Major Briggs. And she's saying that it belongs to Major Briggs, but it can't belong to him because he should be well in his 70s by now.
Yeah, true.
And it's a fresh cadaver kind of thing. So there's a bit of confusion there, but signs are pointing to it that it's Major Briggs' body.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does seem to confirm it, but I don't know. It did confuse me a little bit, that scene. I didn't know whether it was saying it's definite him or whether it was just saying like.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of theories. I mean, it could be like.
Because didn't they say they found the fingerprints on the body rather than like it was the fingerprints of the body.
Is that what it was? Yeah, maybe. I didn't pick up on that. Those kind of details. Maybe that's what it was.
I'm not 100%. I might be wrong, but
not myself.
That's the way I thought of it anyway.
I've got to admit, there's a lot of stuff in this episode where I don't feel like I've picked up all the details we need. Because there's so much information being thrown at you. It's all kind of washed over me a bit. So you could be right on that. The only other thing I was thinking is, we come to fingerprints again later on in the episode. We actually just rewatched a quick scene there involving backwards fingerprints.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So I'm wondering, is this another like doppelganger maybe? Like, something like that, like a fake version of Major Briggs or something.
Maybe, yes.
The only thing pointed against that is that the actor who plays him has actually died in real life.
Yeah.
What was the actor's name again?
Donis Davis.
Yeah, he's died in real life, so it's not as if they could have some twist where he comes back or anything. You know what I mean? He is definitely out of the show. So at this point, we might as well just assume it is Major Briggs' his body.
Yeah, makes sense.
Don't know where his head is. Maybe that'll be the investigation for the weeks coming up, trying to find the head. But well, we saw the head floating through space.
I was going to say, yeah, it's floating through space.
Going back to part 3, I think that was his
Lodge.
head. Yeah, there seemed to be a disembodied head floating through time and space. So, and the only other thing of interest is the military officer goes out to make a phone call. Remember this? And we see the black charred figure in the background walking towards the camera down the hallway, and it's the figure from like episode 1, I think it was, part 1, that was in the jail cell.
All right.
Remember that disappeared?
I mean, I didn't. You might be right, but like it was just that when she was speaking to the, she went back in the room to basically tell him like she thinks it's Major Briggs or something. They walked past and it just seemed to be like a homeless person.
That's the thing. It looks like a homeless person, but it's totally black. Like it's been charred or something. It's that same one from
is it definitely
episode. Well, I'm assuming it is. That was in the jail cell, and it had like a woolly hat on and stuff, and it was all like charred, painted black. And again, it's going back to Fire Walk with Me, a weird character that appeared at the trailer park.
Yeah.
And he looked homeless, but like totally like either black or filthy or painted black or charred. I don't know what the significance of that is, but Lynch has actually confirmed a few weeks ago that this character will be coming back. So like it must have a big part to play.
Oh, okay.
You know, it must symbolise something. I don't know what, but I just find it interesting. It's creepily walking down the hallway, and like you mentioned, she goes back into the morgue, and it walks past the door, kind of thing, in a weird fashion.
Yeah.
So it must have a bigger part to play.
And then like I noticed that she seemed very disturbed by it. Like like as far as you can tell, like if that was you on the phone, it was just someone walking there. But like she did seem to be quite
bit, put out by it, like
shocked by it kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely weird.
Yeah.
And now that's the only thing we've got in Buckhorn this week. I think I can't think of anything else. So we'll go from there we'll go to Twin Peaks because we're starting Twin Peaks in the actual episode.
Yeah.
I think we started with a scene of Jerry Horn phoning Benjamin, telling him that his car's been robbed. Is that right?
Was that when he was what was he saying? I'm lost. And basically this whole conversation, this funny little conversation where it was like, I'm lost and I'm like I'm alone and all this stuff or something. And it kind of ends with him saying like, I'm high.
Yeah. I'm sure he said to him, someone stole my car or something as well. Someone's stolen my car. But this is the thing. I didn't know whether that was a reference to that truck that the Richard Horn was driving last week. Is that his truck, maybe?
I don't know because
I don't know.
I mean, I'll get into it in a bit when we get to that bit. But I feel like that person that Andy was talking to a little later on
that's what I was thinking.
Of the truck.
Yeah, he's on about the truck with that bit. So I didn't know whether that was meant to be that truck or what. But okay, we'll come back to that then with the Andy scene. But before we get there, we had a scene with Sheriff Truman, Frank Truman, and Hawk, where Hawk is basically telling him the plot of Fire Walk with Me. Telling him that we found these pages. Leland must have put them there because he was in the police station a lot back then. And the pages reference Annie Blackburn, I think she's called, from Fire Walk with Me. She appeared to Laura in Fire Walk with Me and told her that Goodale is in the Black Lodge. Write it in your diary. Which we're now to believe she did at the time. I'm sure I mentioned this before on the podcast that if she'd have done that, it'd have solved the whole thing, kind of thing. So, because at the time I don't think it was meant to have been like that, but obviously now, they're just kind of saying, yeah, she wrote it in a diary, forget about it.
I mean, she definitely didn't do it in like the missing pieces or anything.
Maybe that could have been one of the missing pieces. My memory of it was, I might have got this wrong, but I thought she'd given the diary to Lenny Von Dolan, who was the shut-in.
Yeah.
By that point, so I don't think she could write it in a diary, unless she went back there. Maybe that happened in the missing pieces. I'm not sure, but we're now meant to believe that the pages were written and they've now been found, which lets Hawk and Sheriff Truman know that the Goodale is in the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
which I feel now like for the people who complain there's not enough plot driving this forward, I feel like this episode is for those people where all these things are starting to tie together now, you know, and it's really pushing the plot in a certain direction.
Definitely.
And we then go from that scene that we stay with Sheriff Truman. He gives his brother a call. Is it Harry Truman? His
Harry,
brother? Yeah. Gives him a call, and we find out that Harry's basically really sick.
Because he's speaking to him on the phone, isn't he? And he basically rang him to ask him about the pages. But by the sounds of it, when he rang him, he was too ill to kind of.
Yeah,
I think Frank basically decided he was too ill to bother him with it.
Even disturb him with it kind of thing.
Yeah. So like I think it kind of ended with him saying like, "Oh no, it doesn't matter," kind of thing. I'll ask you another time. And then he was like, "Just do one thing for me, beat this thing."
Yeah, it's a nice little moment. I think he's a great actor, Robert Forster.
Yeah.
It must be hard playing that scene just on the phone to someone, but he does play it with a kind of like brotherly love, you know, that relationship should have kind of thing. I thought that was quite nice.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm still hoping we get to see Harry Truman at some point.
I know.
I'm holding out hope, but it doesn't sound likely. But
that's what it is with me. I feel like it's been confirmed by the actor that he's not coming back. Like, he didn't get a phone call. I'm holding out hope that he's just lied to us and we're going to get a shock at some point.
Yeah, even maybe something daft like he might actually die, but then like he goes to the Black Lodge to help out or something in some way, you know what I mean? Like he helps Dale from like beyond the grave kind of thing or something. But like I say, for that to happen, you need to get Michael Onkin back to play the part, and I don't think he's either interested or he's been given a phone call. So we'll wait and see. I'm still holding out hope that David Bowie's going to turn up at some point.
We can definitely hold out hope for that one. I don't know where that if that's
that'll happen. But okay, so we go from there to, I think we stick with Sheriff Truman. He then calls the Doctor from the old series. I should have really got his name.
Like for clarification, this is a few scenes on, isn't it? Like it's not directly following on.
So I think there's an Andy bit in between it, but just like, for the sake of sticking with Sheriff Truman, just we just rewatched the scene on the TV, the bit where he, at first glance, it looks like he's got a nice old style wooden desk and what have you, just a pen and paper. Then he pulls like a weird little gadget lever or something.
Well, he's on the phone, isn't he, to Doc?
To the Doc, yeah.
And he says, and he's speaking to him, and he's like, "Have you ever heard of Skype?" And then the Doc's like, "Oh, I use Skype all the time. I
diagnosed somebody's eczema last week
without even leaving my house." And then obviously, like you say, lever gets pulled.
Yeah. And this weird like monitor contraption comes out of the desk. I think we mentioned it like a week or two ago. Like Lynch's idea of technology is like this weird like magical gadget kind of thing. You know, it's not like just modern technology. It's all these weird gadgets and stuff and pulleys and levers and what have you. But I do love it though.
It's cool.
It's great. And this Doctor is the father of Donna, I believe. Do you remember from the old show?
Yeah.
I'm sure in the final... I'm trying to think back here a couple of years, but I'm sure in the final episode of Series 2, you find out that he wasn't Donna's father. It was actually Benjamin Horne. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember this,
Yeah, they've not even covered that topic yet at all.
I mean, we've not really met Donna yet, have we?
No, Donna's not even been back in it yet, has she?
But
I don't know whether she will be, actually, because I don't think... Laura Flynn Boyle got a phone call either, so I'm not sure she'll be back.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but this is the Doc, who's the father of Donna. He's actually died in real life. We mentioned on one of the first episodes that the log lady died in real life, David Bowie, Donna Davis, and the guy who plays Albert, Miguel Ferrer, he died recently in January, and this guy died a few weeks ago. He's like 91 in real life. Right. Played by Warren Frost, who's the father of Mark Frost, the co-creator. Yeah.
All right.
So he must have got his dad a gig, you know, back 25 years ago, got his dad a job acting on the show. But he died literally, I think, a month or two before the show, you know, aired kind of thing.
Right. So we may have him for a few episodes.
Yeah, he is. I think he was 91 in real life, so I don't know how active he'll be in it.
I imagine that's why he was only on Skype.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like,
so like it doesn't.
He could just be off somewhere just filming it, like, and not even have to turn up on a set for it, kind of thing. Yeah. They might have literally filmed it on Skype, kind of thing. Like,
that's what I think has happened, to be honest. Because it like you could tell, like, I don't know, was it just old age he died of, or do we know?
I think so, yeah.
Like, because it looked like he was a bit not all there, kind of.
Yeah, struggling a bit, maybe. Yeah,
that's what I mean. I didn't want to sound.
Yeah, some of the. I mean, I had to make you replay the scene a couple of times then, because there were a couple of bits I couldn't catch that he was talking about. But the driving point of this scene is that Frank Truman, is calling him to find out his opinion on Cooper when he checked him out 25 years ago after the Black Lodge incident.
Yeah.
And he, in a roundabout way, I've got a bit of a theory here. He tells him that he was fine. He physically was fine. He came around fine, got himself dressed, and he believes he spent some time in Audrey Horne's ward, which is the bit I wanted to confirm, which is why I wanted to replay the scene for me. He went in there and spent a bit of time in Audrey Horne's ward because she was in a coma.
She was in like intensive care, wasn't she?
Yeah, in ICU. Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah, sorry, in ICU after the bank bomb. Do you remember that? She was chained up in a bank.
Oh, God, yeah.
And the explosion went off. And she was in a coma at the same time that Coop came out of the Black Lodge. And they make a point. The way he tells Frank Truman is a bit, like, sinister almost. He says he was in there for a while. And he came out with a blank look on his face.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm immediately going to a dark place here and thinking... I said on the podcast last week that I think Richard Horne might be Audrey Horne's son. And he looks a bit of an evil shithead, Richard Horne. Did Evil Dale rape Audrey when she was in a coma?
Imagine.
But actually saying those words out loud, it sounds a bit too far-fetched.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I mean, you don't know, though.
We don't even know if Richard's her son or not yet, but it might explain why he's so evil if that's what it is. We need Audrey back on the show to confirm what's going on with this.
I know,
But I thought I'd throw it out there. It's a bit of a dark one, but
definitely a fairy.
You know, they mentioned he was in that hospital room with her. And she was in a coma. He was in there for like an hour or something. They said, and he came out with a weird look on his face.
Oh, yeah, maybe
it's a possibility.
Oh God!
I was just thinking when we mentioned. I listened to our podcast from last week today just to catch up on a few things, and I mentioned that last week, and I also mentioned last week that the diary pages would mention that Good Dale is in the Black Lodge. So I was pretty happy with that. Like, I was like, oh, nailed that. Got that one spot on. Yes, well, just a theory, but it is a bit of a grim one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know with Twin Peaks, or do you? Could be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest.
But this is another thing. They go from that like implication almost to Frank Truman says to him, how's the fishing going? And I just love this little conversation they have where it's like, oh, I think he says, I woke up with a couple of 9-pound trout in my pyjamas or whatever. It was like I fried them up for breakfast with some scrambled eggs and an English muffin. And I just love those little details they come out with. Like, I was like, oh, I could go for some scrambled eggs. Just a little, like slice of life conversations they have. Like, I love that stuff. Have you got anything more on that scene you want to go into? Or
no, that's about...
Are you okay with that? Right, well, I'll need your help with this one. We jump from there then to a random scene with Andy.
Yeah, this is the weird one. It like... Because he's just talking to some guy in, I think it was a trailer park. Well, not a park, but like I think it was just like a small trailer house kind of thing.
I think it looks familiar to the location that Leo lived at. Leo and Shelley, you know, that kind of thing. Out in the woods somewhere, like
something like that.
Well, not the woods, but you know, like out in the countryside almost.
It was just some guy he was talking to, and he was basically asking about a truck, which I can only assume is the truck which was driven. It was the last episode when the kid was hit.
Yeah, last episode.
I can only assume that was it because it was in the right area. He did mention locations, Andy. He went, "Oh, it was just." I can't remember what he said, but
yeah, he said something about it being like in a logging something or other, logging location or something like that. I've got to admit, this bit kind of washed over me a bit. I didn't really get the point of it at all.
Yeah.
Andy's saying to him, "Look, just get out here. You know, I'll meet up with you later or something and talk about it."
I'll meet you in 2 hours.
Yeah, and Andy's like, "Right, well, 4:30 at the top." Oh, sorry, that might be the login location. It says meet me at the login point or something at 4:30. And the guy's like, yeah, whatever, just get out of here, like as if like he's worried that someone's going to catch him or something talking about it. Which I was thinking, with it being Richard Horne, I wondered if he's in the house or something, maybe telling him not to talk, something like that, maybe. I really don't know. But we'll just jump. We'll just jump to the scene.
He literally does just go then, doesn't he? And then, like you say, it's the next scene where you see Andy waiting.
He's waiting for him, checking his watch. I found it funny because he stood there waiting to say, "Oh God, where is he?" And it's only like 4:05 on his watch. Did you notice that?
Was it actually?
I'm sure it was. I might have got that totally wrong. I'm thinking like you're 25 minutes early, Andy.
Well,
I'm sure he said 4:30, and then it was like 4:05 or something when he's waiting for him.
Oh, maybe that's why he was. Because I was like, "Oh, he's not showing up here, is he?" But
yeah.
It weren't a very long scene, this, but it gave the impression off that he weren't showing up. But if what you've just said correct, then
I could be totally wrong on that one, but I'm sure I saw the hand on his watch showing at 4:05. I was thinking that's weird.
Maybe you're right. I didn't spot that, but if you are, then maybe that's why it gave the impression that he weren't showing up yet.
Maybe, but I found it interesting as well. At that scene, they kept on cutting back to the house that the guy lives at. These really weird, creepy shots of doorways. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
And these slow zoom-ins on the doorway of the house, as if something was going to come flying out of it or something. I found it quite creepy the way they filmed it, but it keeps on cutting from that back to Andy just stood there waiting, as if something's going to come out of the house and go meet Andy. But nothing happens. We never get any resolve to what happens with that. So that's Andy boxed off for this week. Have you got anything more you want to go into on that at all? No, you're okay with that?
We're good.
We go then from Andy, we get back to meet up with Benjamin Horne again at the Great Northern.
Yeah, this was like a bit of a weird scene there.
Yeah, I like this because we get to meet a bit more with the Ashley Judd character, the female actress who's there. She was quite a big actress 10, 15 years ago. And I find it interesting that, she's just taken this, what looks like a small part on Twin Peaks, but it might grow into something more. And there's a bit of flirting going on. Benjamin Horne's 79, and he's still flirting with the staff and what have you. They were checking out where the hum was coming from. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
She was saying, there's a hum that's coming from over here, and then they kept on going to the corners of the room trying to find out. I was wondering, that hum, would it be anything to do with Josie, do you think? Going back to the old series. Josie was Josie Packard, who we're led to believe died in the hotel, but I think she went into the hotel. And do you remember that at all?
No.
She ran the sawmill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think she died. She got absorbed into the hotel in a weird episode.
I feel like...
There was one bit where a face came out the wood or something in the old show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, wasn't that the...
an Asian woman, yeah.
Yeah, I do know.
Remember that?
Maybe it was her.
I was just wondering, is that humming anything to do with her, maybe? Or is it just a weird humming that they're looking into?
I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
It's a grave possibility,
The only thing with that is that Josie Packard, the Joan Chen, I think she's called, or Joanne Chen, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. She is confirmed she's not in the series, so she won't be coming back. So it might just be a little nod to her almost. Just something like that, really. But we then go from that to Ashley Judd's character hands Benjamin Horne the key that was sent to the Great Northern a few episodes ago. She gives him the hotel key, which belonged to Dale Cooper 25 years ago.
Yeah, because this was just after they finished searching around for the home, wasn't it? They finished off with that, and it's oh, this might interest you. Yeah. And hands him the key, and he seems to have a bit of a revelation, doesn't he? Yeah,
he's almost reminiscing, thinking, God, I've not seen one of the... We changed the key cards 20 years ago. I've not seen one of these for years. And it's oh, this belonged to Dale Cooper, 25 years ago. Where
Dale Cooper got shot, I think he said.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he mentions the fact he was shot. And I like the fact Ashley Judd says, who's Dale Cooper? And he says, "Oh, it was an FBI agent who investigated the Laura Palmer murder." And she's like, "Who's Laura Palmer?" And I feel like I might be looking into this, but I feel like the look on his face is almost thinking, God, yeah, this woman's a lot younger than I am. Like, she doesn't even know about this. You know what I mean? Like, it makes him feel like, what am I doing? Like, flirting with a woman 40 years younger than me, kind of thing. And that's when he kind of says, like, "Oh, nothing. You shoot off or whatever." But he does tell her to call him Ben before she goes, though. She says, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Horn." He's like, "No, call me Ben." So there's still a bit of flirting going on. Yeah. So I think that's everything really in that scene, isn't it?
That's about it. Yeah.
She then goes home.
Oh, yeah, we see her. Then,
we meet her, I believe, husband called Tom. I think he's called.
I can only assume, because what happens is she goes home, doesn't she? Well, I think she has a phone call from someone. No, sorry. I think she kind of walks past like a carer or something who's saying,
"Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
like, oh yeah, he's hungry, he's missing you," kind of thing. She goes in, and then I actually looked up the actor, but I can't remember his name now.
Oh, really?
He's I'm pretty sure he's been in quite a few things, but he's in quite a small role here, isn't he? Because all he's doing
looks like it.
Basically, she walks in, and like this guy sat there, and she said, "Oh, are you hungry?" I think, and then he asked her a few questions, like, "Oh, where have you been?"
Yeah,
So there's a lot of bad stuff to do, like, what stuff have you got to do? And it basically boils down to her, like, pretty much shouting at him, saying, like, "Oh, well, I'm doing this for you. I wouldn't have to do it if..."
Yeah. I quite like it. Quite a dramatic scene. I like the fact that he seems quite distrustful of her. Yeah. As if, like, she's cheated in the past, maybe, or something like that. And inquiring where she is. And she is very much like... I imagine you would get this way, having to care for an ill relative or something. Yeah. She has a very short... Her patience runs out, but very short on patience in dealing with it.
At the same time, you could just see that as her being very defensive.
That's the thing. She's either being defensive or she's genuinely like it would get to you once look after a sick family member or what have you.
Because he certainly looked terminal, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't look well, did he?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an interesting scene, just built more character building kind of thing.
I mean, we don't really know much about her at all, but like we've just been introduced to her husband, and I don't know why, but I'm guessing we'll find that out at some point.
Yeah, yes. Well, I'm sure we'll come back to that in future. But are you okay if we move on then? Yeah. We're now getting to my favourite scene in the episode. This is going back to something we've discussed on like the main podcast. I think how like. You guys at work accuse me of having like weird abstract taste in film and stuff like that. The next scene in Twin Peaks is quite near the end, to be honest with you. But we go to the Roadhouse and we get to spend about I literally timed it was 2.5 minutes of watching a guy sweep the floor.
I did notice this, I was watching. I was like, I've been watching this guy sweep the floor for a long time.
2.5 minutes. I loved every minute of it. This is the kind of thing I love, like the detail that goes into just the way the scene is lit and stuff. You can see the light bouncing off the floor.
It was a really nice shot.
Yeah, it was amazing.
A really good scene.
It's a static camera for literally 2.5 minutes of watching a guy sweep the floor. And I just find stuff like that really satisfying. It's like, you missed a bit. Yeah, I love stuff like that. I mean, we've joked about in work, like, who our favourite directors are, that kind of thing. I'm always like, if I could meet one person, it'd be Quentin Tarantino. I'm starting to flip over now towards David Lynch. I think my taste lines up with his a lot more than Tarantino.
Fair enough.
That scene a few weeks ago, watching Dr. Jacoby paint gold shovels for like 5 minutes, coupled with this, I'm like, this is what I want to watch in a TV show.
Yeah.
If you can make sweeping the floor look this good, then just make the whole episode just this.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So we watched that then for 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. He sweeps the whole floor
before the phone rings.
Yeah, and the bar owner.
The thing is, though, this was the Bang Bang bar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then, like, when he picks up the phone, he says Roadhouse.
Yeah, I think.
So this is the Roadhouse from the original series.
Oh yeah, this is the Roadhouse.
I didn't realise that.
My sister pointed this out to me a week or two ago. She said to me, "It is the Bang Bang bar, but it's the Roadhouse from the old show." I was like, "Oh right." Yeah.
I did not realise that until I was watching it yesterday.
Yeah, my sister pointed it out to me. Yes, it's the Roadhouse from the old show. Yeah.
Right, so it's the answers, and I think. Basically, he's having a conversation about some prostitute or something.
He is, and this is going back to the old show as well. I think I've not double checked this, but I think the actor playing the bar owner, is the same actor who played one of the Renault brothers in the old show, but it's a different Renault brother he's playing now because he died in the old show. So
right, yeah.
it was like Jacques Renault in the old one, and I'm sure it's meant to be another relative of the Renault brothers, but they're running the same operation that they did back then. It's basically somebody phones up saying, like, complaining about 2 girls who've been sent to them or something.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
like, or one of them wants more money or something like that. Maybe I think it was
something along those lines.
But he's clearly not happy with it and saying like, no, we'll send you another 2 girls or whatever, something like that.
Something like. I remember one line he said, I think, where it was something like I have heard that like they're good at what they do though, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like I can't actually, I'm actually drawing a blank a bit here. I can't remember exactly what it was about.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mentioned before, a lot of the little details have passed me by on this one. I don't know why, but it's kind of washed over me a bit. So I'll need to watch it again to for it all to sink in. We just don't get time, do we? Because we record so soon after the episode airs, so we haven't got time to go back and do a rewatch yet. But yeah, I think really the main point of that scene is just to show that prostitution and the drug running is all alive and well in Twin Peaks.
Still going, kind of thing, yeah.
And it's almost the same people running the operations, kind of thing. So we then go from. Have you got anything more on the road scene? No. We then go from that scene to. Oh, sorry, that's pretty much the end of the Twin Peaks stuff. We go back to it at the very end with the diner, but we'll come back to that when we finish. We've covered all the stuff all the stuff. The one scene in Buckhorn. Are you okay then to go to Gordon Cole and Albert meeting Diane?
Yeah.
We pick up with Gordon Cole in his office. Did you notice this? He just sat back in his chair, whistling the same tune over and over again, just going like, I don't know what he's trying to do. But...
I don't know. For some reason, what the thing I got from that was it was something to do with his earpiece.
I was thinking that maybe testing his hearing out or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because like as soon as like after he's done this, like the door kind of slams open. No, knocks or something.
Albert bangs, and he's like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
Yeah, so I feel like he's got it on loud, and he's there like testing it with his whistling or something.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. That, and Albert comes in and mentions that he nearly caught pneumonia when he went to meet Diane.
This is something I've noticed about the new series. There's a bit of a void between Cole and Albert, isn't there?
Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, they're all right, but like they seem to not. I don't know. Like Albert always seems a bit angry with him.
Oh, to be fair though, maybe he might be because of like Cooper's gone missing for 25 years. He might, and we find out we're going to come on to Diane. She's got a lot of harboured resentment towards them both, towards the whole FBI by the look of it. I think this though might just be more that Albert hates everyone. Do you remember back in the old show?
Yeah,
he hated Harry Truman. And then one episode gives him a big hug out of nowhere. And I was like, what? I thought you hated me. So I think it might just be his demeanour, like...
Yeah, maybe. Because he comes in, doesn't he? And he's talking to Cole. And he says basically like, all right, you'll have to do it now. You'll have to go and speak to her because she's not responding to me. And Cole's like, oh, will you come with me? And then Albert's response to that is, say please.
Yeah.
And Cole goes, sorry, what?
You heard me.
And he just goes, you heard me. And it seemed very blunt, and I was just like, all right, he's sick of his... He's obviously clicked onto the fact that he's not fully telling the
he makes out like.
That's it,
yeah. And he's had 25 years of putting up with this, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah,
so
exactly,
it might all be coming to a head now, kind of thing.
But,
sorry, go on, yeah.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. What happened?
Yeah, so we then go from that bit to, I think they just turn up at Diana's apartment, knocking at the door.
Yeah, it just basically straight away, isn't it? Yeah. And some fellow opens. We can only assume is Diane's. I don't know.
I think.
That's something.
I didn't get that. I got like a toy boy or something.
Yeah, well, the only reason I said that is because. Like he clearly wasn't the same age as her. He weren't,
a lot younger.
He weren't husband. So you're probably right. It didn't give the impression of a son. I just said that because it seemed a bit younger.
The age difference, yeah.
So
I think she's found herself a toy boy or something. Been having some fun while. Yeah. And she lets them both in, but she's really hostile towards them both. There's some funny little exchanges that come up with Diana. I think she's great, Diana.
No, I loved it because, like, I think Cole says to her, he goes, "Have you got any coffee?" And she's like, "No."
No coffee, and we've got no cigarettes either.
While she's got a coffee and a cigarette in her hand.
Yeah, that's good.
I loved that.
Yeah.
And then they just start talking, don't they?
Eventually, she gets some coffee, and Gordon does the famous
Well, like,
line.
This is after they've just been talking for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She just kind of fucked off into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Comes back with the coffee.
Yeah, and you get the classic line, "Damn good coffee."
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that. But basically, they just lay it out to her that I think first of all they say, "Oh, Cooper's in a federal institution," and she replies, "Good." She's sick of him as well.
See, I wonder about that. We know that something's happened between them.
Between her and Cooper.
At the end of Twin Peaks, the original series, as far as he is only ever still speaking into his little thingy device.
His dictaphone, yeah.
He's only ever speaking to his dictaphone. But maybe at this point they have already they're not talking at this point. But
I'm thinking a bit different to you on that one.
No. That's not what I think. I'm saying maybe that is it. But what I think, I think that maybe Evil Dale's done something here.
I'm totally with you on this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump ahead in terms of the scene. Just for one quick point, she mentions later when was the last time when she's talking to Evil Coop. She says, when was the last time we saw each other? And he's like, I don't know how long ago it was, in your house. So I almost think Evil Coop might have talking about Audrey Horne before, and I think he's gone to go and visit Diane.
Tried something similar.
Tried something on there, and it's not gone down well. And that's why Diane maybe is the way she is. She might have loved Coop.
Yeah.
And after what happened, she's turned into basically an alcoholic, and she's drinking all the time now and stuff,
Yeah.
She's very bitter, very hating life kind of thing. So I think something has definitely happened there that's, soured her kind of thing. So from the scene in her apartment, we go straight to the plane flight. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Nothing else we've missed there, is there?
No, I think that pretty much sums everything up from that.
On the plane flight, we get the first fuck you from Diane.
Yes, is it with Tammy?
Albert first of all.
Or is it Albert first?
Actually, I think she's already given Gordon a fuck you at one point, maybe.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I think she did say it to someone when
in the apartment.
It was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But they say Albert gives her vodka. Is it like a little bottle of vodka?
And he says to her, thanks for doing this, Diane. We really appreciate it, or something like that.
I think he said something like something along the lines of don't judge someone if you do it yourself. It weren't that, but it was something along that line.
Along those lines, yeah.
He goes and sits back down with Cole, doesn't he? Then.
Yeah. Well, I just love that. That was thanks for doing this for us. It's like, fuck you, Albert.
Yeah.
So yeah, he joins up with Gordon Cole, and Tammy Palmer comes in with the fingerprint information. And I think the point of this is to show that the fingerprints of Evil Coop and Good Coop are literally reversed, back to front.
Oh, okay.
He's a copy of him, but a complete opposite. The other way around.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong on this. I'm just guessing. But she showed the fingerprints and they were both flipped over. And the reason I'm thinking this is there's been a lot of, obviously being Twin Peaks, there's been a load of stuff about backwards talking all the way through the show. And he says at that point then, Irev, which is very backwards. And he then goes on to spell out on Tammy's hand. It's been a very, very something or other. What Evil Coop said to him the first time they met up. It's been a very, very long time, old friend, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And it spells it out on the fingers. Almost as if to say, though, very is Irev,
Yeah.
I don't know what the significance of that is, but...
Oh, yeah.
Backwards.
That makes sense, doesn't it, really? The backwards talking. So, everyone who's made, or who came from the lodge is
It's like a weird backwards clone or something, of the real people, Or when you go there, you go backwards or
Makes
something.
sense, because he is pretty much the polar opposite of Cooper from what we've seen so far.
Yeah. And if the fingerprints are literally the opposite way
I mean,
around.
I've never seen evil Cooper drinking coffee, have you?
No, he's literally literally the opposite of good Cooper. Yeah, so I just found that interesting. And something else he pointed out, when he spelt it out on the fingers, he makes a big deal about the ring finger.
Yeah.
About it being the mound of something or other, Heartline or something like that. But it's the ring finger, and the ring that's in the Black Lodge, the L ring, makes your left arm go numb.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing this stuff out here. I don't know, no idea how it's going to tie in, but it all seems to be pointed at something.
I think you're actually making a lot of sense. Yeah.
I just don't know what it's pointing at. You know what I mean? Like it all seems to link in somehow. But yes, well, that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I almost want to go back now and watch that first scene where they met up with Evil Coop. And he tells him, like it's been a very, very long time, old friend, or something like that.
Yeah.
And just see whether he says very or irrev or something like that. You know what I mean? Because Gordon Cole mentions it for a reason. But yeah, maybe homework for next week. I might go back and watch that one and just double check that. So I think that's pretty much it for that bit. That's pretty much the point of that scene by the look of it. We then cut from that to the actual prison in, I think, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Yankton prison, I think it is. Now, this is really weird because back in episode 1, Evil Coop is looking at this prison as if like he's got to get in there to get Ray. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And he ends up with Ray at the end of this episode. So I'm wondering if this was his plan all along to get in the prison, to get Ray out or something.
He seemed to know some things, didn't he?
Yeah.
In order to help his escape. So.
Although the reason he got in there was because he crashed his car, if you remember, and got arrested. So whether he planned that, you know what I mean? You just don't know, do you?
You can't
plan that, really, can you?
How can you plan being about to be sucked into
in a car crash? Yeah.
Black Lodge. Difficult that, but maybe. But like the senior on about anyway. Like Diane. Well, it's basically they're all walking down the corridor, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Diane's basically saying, "Well, I need and right." It's like 2 minutes or something, and or however long I want. I want to be in control
on my own, yeah.
On my own, in control, kind of thing. And Cole says, "Yeah, like you have control of the shutter. You can do whatever you want. Stay in as long as you want, kind of thing."
Yeah.
And then she goes in.
Oh, just before that, there was one other bit. Tammy comes over with some useful information, and she's like, "Oh, what's your name again?" She's like, "Oh, it's Tammy." Yeah, fuck you, Tammy. Quite like that.
Yeah, that's the final fuck you from Dan.
Yeah. Oh no, I think there's one more coming up actually. I'll mention in a minute. Yeah. So like you mentioned, she goes in and she pulls the shutter up, and it's Evil Coop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this scene just pretty much goes down in terms of. He just says, hello, Diane, and within that mad voice he's got.
Yeah, I don't quite understand this mad voice.
Yeah. It's almost like if you were trying to convince people you are who you are, you'd make a bit of a better go of it, wouldn't you?
That's what I mean. I can't quite understand why he's doing the voice.
Yeah.
Unless, like you say, like he planned to get there and he doesn't actually care.
Yeah. He doesn't care who they think he is, kind of thing.
In fact, it might even be. You might quite like the fact that they think he's just a different person.
Yeah, it might confuse things even further and help him, kind of thing. Yeah. And Diane, basically, I think the only thing she asks him really is, if you're the real Coop, tell me the last time we met. And he says, whatever it was, 25 years ago in your house or your flat or whatever. And she gets really visibly upset at this, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Probably not the best question to ask, because with it being Evil Coop, he would have known that because he met him like 25 years ago. Ask him another question. And she gets really visibly upset, doesn't she, and puts the shutter down straight away.
Yeah.
And she goes out to the parking lot to talk with Gordon. At which point, Gordon just on the way out tells the warden, do not let him go. Keep him here. We'll get back to you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And out in the parking lot. I love the scene, the way Laura Dern plays it. She tells Gordon it's definitely not Coop. There's something missing, like something here, and indicating
it's
like
like
a soul or a heart.
Yeah, it's like she's like it's not here. Pointing at her brain, like her head. It's not here. It's not. She was pointing a few places. She's like, it's not here. It's not here. And then, it's like you say, she kind of points at the heart, and she's like, something's missing here.
And she's really visibly upset. Gets the vodka out again, or whatever it was she was on. And I think she just has one final fuck you. It's like, fuck the FBI.
But I think it ends that scene, doesn't it, with like her and Cole hugging kind of.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Oh, so we've just got one more little note here.
I mean, there is more that happens in the prison later on. I don't know if we want to go away from it just yet.
No, you're right. We should cover that now, to be honest. While we're here, sorry, I've just got some notes here. I've confused myself with the notes, to be honest. Basically, as he mentioned from there, we then go on to Cooper getting a message to the warden.
Saying, he says to a guard, doesn't he? I need to speak to the warden, and he basically laughs at him. He's like, don't be daft. And then and he says, just tell him I need to talk about Strawberry.
Yeah.
And for some reason we don't actually. I don't know. Do you know?
No idea whatsoever.
But like the warden knows what Strawberry or who Strawberry is.
Yeah, Mr. Strawberry. I don't know. He mentioned him like 2 weeks ago, I think, as well.
Yeah, he did. It was that scene where he he was on the phone and like it all went weird, kind of thing. Yeah.
The only Mr. Strawberry I've ever heard of is famous baseball player Darryl Strawberry, who appeared on The Simpsons once. But
I'm guessing we can confirm it's not him.
Well, it'd be quite a twist if it was him. It'd be quite good. So yeah, from there, then he gets his meeting with the warden, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And now I'm fascinated by this because we forgot to mention. Well, I mentioned it to you in the office weeks ago when it happened in the episode, but I forgot to talk about it on the podcast. The fact he had a dog's leg in the boot of his car.
Yeah.
When he got arrested. I think I forgot to mention it anyway, but he was arrested with a dog leg in the boot of his car. And he mentions here that there were three other dog legs out there with other people. And like, as if to say, you'll know what will happen if you don't let me out, kind of thing.
Yeah, and
it's all tied in with Mr. Strawberry.
I mean, it was only an inkling. Probably not even like correct. It's just something I thought when I was watching it last night. Mr. Strawberry's not his dog. That weren't his dog, was it?
Could be. I don't know.
Or some like.
It's the kind of name you can imagine for a dog.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, because I can't imagine a person called Strawberry.
Yeah, it's right. Other than Devil Strawberry, so no, yeah, I think like I say, it sounds like a pet name, doesn't it? You know.
So like, I was wondering if like because I'm guessing the warden knew something about that.
It's definitely meant something to him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, I mean, I'm probably wrong there, to be honest, but like,
yeah. And the thing I find fascinating with it, though, the first thing I thought when I first saw that dog leg weeks ago was the black dog runs at night. It's almost like I think there's a bit of white fur on there as well, but it looks a bit like black, the fur on the dog leg. And I thought that card that he showed to the girl back in episode 1 looked like a black dog as well, a playing card with a drawing on it. So I'm wondering when and where the black dog runs at night. I'm sure it's going to come back at some point, but from Firewalk with me. So I'm thinking that ties into that maybe. And another thing, I'm sure there's a music cue at the end of this when he gets let out of jail and the warden's just stood there watching him go. There's a really weird music cue that like crescendos, and I'm sure that's the same music cue from the Black Dog Runs at Night bit in Firewalk with me. I've got to go back and check. I could be totally wrong on that, but I've got to go back and check. But it did definitely sound familiar. Like,
okay.
So you know what I mean? If it was that music cue, it's got to be something to do with this Black Dog thing. Excuse me, it'll definitely tie in somewhere. Oh, we've got to mention. He demanded that Ray was let out of jail with him as well, which was the guy who was actually hired to kill him back in part 1, so I've no idea how that's going to play into it. Ray was the only one who survived out of the original crew. Remember, the woman got killed by him. The guy who was like the garage worker got killed by him when he rubbed his face at that.
Yeah, that was a weird scene. But like you say, like they both got released out, and there was a rental car which he also asked for. He said, "I don't care if it's a shitty car, but I want a rental car.
Yeah.
And I want us two to be released, kind of thing.
And he wants a gift in the glove box or something.
I can only assume he meant a gun there.
Yeah, some weapon or something. Yeah, just a weird way of wording it. You know what I mean? It's quite interesting. But yeah, have you got anything more you want to go into on the prison bit, or
no?
You okay with that? Yeah. Right, so we'll enter the home stretch then. Vegas.
Now, some of these were some of my favourite scenes in this episode.
Yeah, I agree. I loved it. Back to Dougie Jones again.
Yeah. Good Dale.
I'm just calling him Dougie Jones. I love it. We get back to him being in the office.
He's just kind of scribbling on the people. Well, I think at this point he's scribbling on like the mat on the desk, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name. The other guy, who he basically called a liar.
Yeah, the actor's called Tom Sizemore, but I can't think what character he's playing now.
But like he like basically he's there going, I've seen you walking into the boss's office with like a load of files, kind of thing. And obviously with it being Good Dale, who doesn't know how to person yet.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. He just kind of carrying on staring, just doing these doodles before, like, and this guy's still asking, like, oh, come on, like what happened, what kind of thing, before a little, I think we've seen her in the previous episode. I think she was the one that let him into the toilet, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
This little reception, I keep saying little as if she's just like a young woman, but this lady who's like a receptionist, I think she let him into the toilet in an earlier episode, into the female toilet.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And she comes in and she basically says, there's there's some police officers waiting outside for you. At this point, that guy's just like, oh, that reminds me of a phone call I need to take.
He's like, oh, the police, I've got to make a phone call.
Yeah.
He's out there like a shot.
Yeah, I found that quite funny.
Yeah, that was good, yeah.
And then she says, wait, what he says now? Because he repeats exactly what she says.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, there's some police officers waiting out there for you. And I think she kind of motions with her hand. She's like, come on. And he kind of stands up and he does the same motion with his hands, come on. And she's like, oh, do you want me to bring him in here? Okay, no worries. It's playing into this whole thing that no one seems to care that he's just a bit nuts.
He seems a bit distant.
Yeah, no one seems to care at all.
It's weird, isn't it?
But like I say, like he does this motion to come here thing, repeating her doing it. And as a result, she kind of goes...
Can I ask, though, at what point does his wife come in? I can't remember how she got involved.
It's not yet. It's like she then goes off, this receptionist. 3 police officers come in. The bald one, I recognise him.
One of my favourite comedy actors, David Keckner. He's Champ Kind from Anchorman.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who goes, whammy!
Yeah.
I love this guy.
See, I recognise him. He was quite good. But... Yeah. They're coming in, and I think they basically ask about a car, and they say,
"Can I just cut in there as well?" I'm sure he said 3 agents come in, and I'm sure he said, "We're the Fuscos," as if like they're all brothers or something. It's like, what, you got 3? You're all 3 brothers. Just a weird little throwaway kind of thing.
Maybe,
yeah. Or Fuscos or Fuscos or something.
It's about this point that his wife comes in because she basically overhears them talking about this car. And she comes in and goes,
yeah, what's going on?
What's going on? And she from this point onward, she's pretty much doing all the talking for Good Dale.
For Dougie.
For Dougie. That's it, yeah. And I think, I don't know why, but I feel like the boss came in at the exact same time as her.
Yeah, he came in as well. And it almost becomes like they're interrogating the police by this point. It's really weird.
Because like they're asking about a car, and it kind of comes down to it where like she's like, yeah, it's been lost, we don't know where it's gone, kind of thing.
Yeah. And she's like, don't you have any idea who's got it? And they're like, well, it was last seen with these thieves. And they're like, well, problem solved. Clearly it was a car theft.
and then I think the boss actually says to her, he says, not to her, sorry, to the police. He's like, you know where this car is, don't you?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there has been a bit of a incident where a car blew up and there was like 3 deaths or something.
Yeah.
So,
and then from there, like, we get a funny little bit at the end where, like, I'm sure Naomi Watts is like, right then, I'll drive Dougie home because he hasn't got a car. Just to really hammer the point home, kind of thing.
Before they leave, though, the boss is kind of asking, isn't he? He basically before they leave, like I think the police are like, oh yeah, right. I mean, we're just about done, but we need you to fill out some paperwork. And then one of the other police officers goes, but we can leave that. We can do that tomorrow. Don't worry about that. Kind of thing. I think they were somewhat intimidated by the missus there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the boss kind of says, oh yeah, I just wanted to talk to him about those papers he like he like scribbled on yesterday. And then he like also like seemingly quite intimidated by her. He's like, but I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I like that.
They go off and you see like a little walkthrough with through the lobby.
Yeah.
And it's and she's basically telling Dale about how she spoke to the guys who were trying to get the money off him.
Yeah, so yeah, I've got to admit, I've totally forgot about that now. Until she gets outside, I totally forgot about that bit.
She was like
you keep going
through the lobby, saying like, all right, I've spoke to the guys and I offered $25,000, and that's a lot more than they ever deserved. And this is like, but if you hadn't gone and gambled it all on bloody thing,
sorry, I do remember that. Yeah,
be able to buy a car,
a decent car.
Because I think they were talking about the insurance from the other car as well.
Yeah,
it's like on top of that, but the insurance and that money we've got, like we've been able to buy you a decent car, kind of thing. And then I don't know if anything more happens after that, does it? Oh, sorry, what am I on about? This is the big
moment.
scene.
Yeah, they get outside.
And that little dwarf,
Ike Statler. Yeah,
he runs over.
But before we actually see him, I think we get like a flash of like Spidey sense almost on Dougie Jones's face. Do you know what I mean? Almost if he knows something's coming, kind of thing. And like as you mentioned, like Ike kind of fights his way through the crowd, armed with a gun. I presume because his ice pick got broke last week. So he's thinking, I'll try to shoot him instead. Yeah. Comes through the crowd with a gun, and like Dougie Jones has like a weird Spidey sense moment where he flicks into like James Bond mode almost and just takes him to the floor.
Amazing that, isn't it?
Did you catch this though? I love this bit. Like he takes him to the floor with the gun on the floor. And Naomi Watts in the background, like whacking him with a bag and stuff. Just the waitress immediately like.
I love this because, like, obviously this all happened. Like he kind of stops him from doing what he's doing by like pinning him down.
Yeah.
And but like I'll come back to that in a sec. But like I loved it afterwards when like they're talking to like the police. Yeah. I loved it when Naomi's going, "Oh yeah, he just kind of did this thing." I mean, I was hitting him a bit as well.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was amazing. Like she wanted to take a bit of the
credit, yeah,
the credit there. But yeah, going back, like he pins him down, and we see the little brain tree thing from the Black Lodge, don't we?
Yeah, little brain tree. It's dead tiny for some reason at this point.
Can't quite remember what it said. It was.
I've got it wrote down what it said. I didn't actually catch it on the show. I had to Google it today to find out what it was. He's got his hand on the floor, and Ike is holding the gun, and he's got his hand around his hand. Yeah. And the little brain tree is shouting, "Squeeze his hand off! Squeeze his hand off!"
All right.
Which kind of explains what's coming up in a minute.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I can't remember if this is correct, but he ran off, didn't he?
Ike gets away.
He gets away. Right. So
the gun's left at the scene.
But the gun's left at the scene. And then we've got like the police all show up, and like you see them like picking up the gun. Well, they don't. They get like the tweezers. It's like I can only describe as a bit of flesh.
Yeah, I think knowing now what the brain tree told him, squeeze his hand off. It's almost as if Dougie Dale squeezed his hand so hard that like Ike's skin came off on the gun. Like superhuman strength or something.
Yeah.
You know, like weird. Like
yeah, I mean maybe that's. I mean. Yeah, it's quite weird because like they get the skin and they put it in the thingy bag, don't they? But I love this though because like you're getting all these interviews by people. So.
Yeah, I love this. One of the interviews I've got a note here for, one of the women is like, Douglas Jones moved like a cobra. It's just great, the reaction of some of these people.
Yeah, I love like some of those interviews. Like let's say Naomi Watts is what is her name?
Janie E. Jones, she's called.
Janie Jones.
Yeah.
She's like obviously like I just said, she's like talking to him and she's like, oh yeah, he was so good. He had reflexes like a.
Was it her who said that? Sorry, mate. It might have been her, maybe.
Was it?
Somebody said like he moved like a cobra. It just made me laugh.
It might have been, but like she said, oh, he had like these great reflexes. He just like took him down, kind of thing. And she's like, and then he was like holding him down. I was hitting him, and
yeah.
And then like I think you had a few other people saying like one woman, she was like, oh yeah, he barged straight through me. If I was gonna die at one point, like,
yeah, just totally over the top reactions.
Yeah,
like that.
I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of that bit. But I think that's pretty much everything. To be honest with you, I don't think we missed anything out.
I'm pretty sure we've nailed everything.
Covered everything there, yeah. And just to wrap up the show, we then go from there, I think, to the diner.
The final scene, yeah.
Final shot, yeah, and the credits roll on this bit.
Like, I don't think there was any talking, really, was there?
There was not. You just heard people having conversations, but there's one weird bit where the door opened and a young teen kind of barged in and went, "Where's Billy?" and just ran off. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
didn't
just like they're all just like business as usual, and just some young guy opens the door, goes, "Where's Billy?" And Shelley's like, "I don't know," and he just runs off.
All right.
Yeah, just a weird little throwaway line, and
fair
the
enough.
credits roll after that. Like, yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't see that. Well, like you say, when the credits roll, then you're just kind of seeing like that laughing waitress.
Heidi. Yeah,
she just kind of walks on by.
Yeah,
and yeah, like that's pretty much where it ends.
Yeah, just going on from that. One thing I've been meaning to mention for a few weeks, a bit like with the look of the show the other week, how it's all digital. I've noticed that each week, and I keep forgetting to mention it, that David Lynch is responsible for all the sound design on the show. Normally you'd have like a composer and somebody doing sound. Lynch is doing it all himself. Like, see, he must feel that sound is that important that he wants total control of the whole look, the whole feel of the show.
That's fair enough. Like, it definitely adds to it, doesn't it? It puts his touch on every kind of aspect of it. So,
and that's why I feel like when there were music cues in there, they wouldn't be there if they weren't for a reason. You know what I mean? Like if they're trying to call back to something or that kind of thing. You know,
it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he totally controls every aspect of the show. Have you got anything more you want to go on to, mate? Or
I think like we've literally covered every aspect of this episode.
Every aspect. So I've just got one thing I want to throw out about last week's episode. We had another message from I think it was S Jones 56 last week. Just contacted us to tell us that. Remember last week at the start of the episode when Dougie was messing with his jacket sleeve?
Yeah.
In front of the statue. We didn't mention it at the time, but she was saying that it might be a one-armed man thing. Because the one-armed man, he's got his sleeve pinned up.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And the whole extension of the arm, you know, the left arm goes numb, that kind of thing.
That's a very.
It might be some like weird play on that, maybe. You know,
yeah. Like, because I couldn't figure. I just thought he was maybe. You know, like, do you know, like when you've got a blazer and you've got that little bit inside it? Yeah. I just imagined he'd got his hand stuck on
caught
that.
In that. Maybe that was it. Like,
I mean, that's what I thought, but like that makes a lot of sense. Cause
just some weird one-arm man.
I feel like they wouldn't put something like that in without it having some kind of symbolic reason. I mean, it's a very good theory. Keep sending them in.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got any theories, if you've got any feedback, if you want to tell us anything about the show at all, my Twitter's at Taylor1980.
Mine's at DSTE Nick.
And have you got the main podcast Twitter, Nick?
I'm glad you've remembered it this time, John. It's at DSTE Podcast.
Thank you. We've got an Instagram as well, haven't we? But that's mainly for the main show.
I mean, if you want to go ahead and
I don't know, to be honest.
if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's DSTE Podcast and the number 4.
Nice one. Okay. Just to mention, we're part of a main podcast called Don't Spoil the Ending. We put out shows for the main podcast every Tuesday night. They come out, and our Twin Peaks one comes out every Wednesday night.
Like as of when this episode goes live, I believe like it should have gone out last night.
Yeah.
This is an episode that I wasn't involved in. This wasn't it?
You were away this weekend, weren't you?
This
Yeah,
is the one I was away for, so I'm quite interested to see how this one played out.
I think this is the first one you could listen to with not being on it.
Yeah.
Be interested to hear what you think.
Yeah. I'm quite.
Send us some feedback.
I'll put some feedback, some reviews on the iTunes. Yeah. Oh, five star. Definitely recommend.
Yeah.
No,
But yeah, on the main show this week, we covered all of the E3 news.
Yeah.
The Video Gaming Expo. So if you're interested in that at all, get on over there, check out our podcast. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, keep on listening to our Twin Peaks show, and we'll catch you all next week. Have you got anything more you want to add?
No. I mean, I think I've mentioned it before, but like in a few months, no, sorry, not even that. In like less than a month, we're gonna probably be doing like 2 of these a week, aren't we?
Yeah, it's gonna be busy.
It's gonna get busy for us, but like we're gonna do Game of Thrones next month. So if you're interested in that, like. Me and John just talking about episode by episode of Twin Peaks, and next month you might be interested to, and you like Game of Thrones, this is, you might be interested to listen to that one next month.
Definitely, with it being Game of Thrones as well, we might have a few special guest appearances on there.
Yeah.
Quite a few people at the office who are into Game of Thrones. We're pretty much the only two who are like hardcore Twin Peaks fans.
So we might have a few extra heads for the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, a few more of a revolving door policy. A few guests popping in now and again for the Game of Thrones one.
Yeah.
But can't wait for that. The Series 7 of Game of Thrones. It should be epic. And none of us know what's going to happen because it's one of the first one's really not based on a book.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah. So like I say, if you're enjoying this, definitely like next month. Be sure to check out the Game of Thrones one.
Check out Game of Thrones, keep listening to Twin Peaks, and check out our main show on every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday night, yeah.
Yes, that's goodbye from me.
And that's goodbye from me. Thanks very much for listening.
Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. See ya.